What is up, guys? Badger1 here with Badger Team. Just going through my videos on my channel and realized that my mission building tutorials that I did, it's been a while. They're like 4 years old. ARMA has had many updates since then. I've learned a lot since then as far as mission building is concerned. So I thought I would redo my basic mission building tutorial for all the subscribers on my channel. And anybody that's new. If you're new to ARMA and you've seen the editor and you're like, man, I wish I knew what this was all about, you go into editor and there's tons of icons and there's drop down menus and there's things that you don't know how to use. And I remember when I first did it, it was very, very intimidating for me to break into editing, building missions for me and my team to play. Um, there is a big learning curve. And I just found that the more that I did it, the more comfortable I was in editor. But you have to start somewhere. So the goal for this video, I'm just going to go over the basics of editor. I'm not going to get real fancy with it and use all of the tools. Some of the tools I still don't even use to this day. I've been building missions for 10 years. So this is going to be a basic mission building tutorial for anybody that's basically new to using the editor. If you want to learn how to build a mission for you and friends, host locally on your own server, like by your own PC, or if you have a server and you want to pin that mission up on your server and be able to play it at random, this is going to be a basic tutorial on where to start as far as map selection, mission criteria. You might even not know where to begin as far as building a mission. So I'm going to walk through some of that. I go into editor here and I'm just going to do a basic mission building tutorial, maybe cover some triggers, do some waypoints, stuff like that for units. So I'm going to go into editor. I will tell you this while this map is loading up. We'll go to something big, wide open spaces here. Fallujah is good. As you can see, I have a lot of maps downloaded in my game. Some of these, if you are unfamiliar with downloading stuff from the workshops, mods and such, all these maps you can get off the workshop. The main one that you need to have if you don't have it already in your game, if you're just running straight Biz ARMA, vanilla ARMA, that is, whether you have Altus and Tanoa. Maybe you have a couple other DLCs that allow you to have other maps. Livonia is one that comes with a DLC. I can't remember which one right now. I think it was the War. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was. It has all the bunch of medical stuff in it for casualties and that kind of stuff. But anyway, the main one that you need to get if you don't have it already is Cup Maps. I believe that's what it is. I'll look it up and put it in the description of the video so you can have the downloads for all the links. But basically, it's a port for all the maps that came with ARMA 2 into ARMA 3, upgraded with ARMA 3 graphics. So that's how I have these maps: Chernarus, Bukovina, and Bistreca. Porto comes with it, as well as Proving Grounds, Ramadi, Shapur, and it comes with Takistan and Takistani Mountains. The others are independent downloads. So my Sarani map, it's an independent download. That's a map all of itself. The Cup Terrains also comes with Zargabad and Utez as well. But this one, Al Salman, Iraq, is a totally separate download, as well as Isla Duala, Novogorsk is its own download, and Fallujah. This one right here, this GOS in Zawazago, it's a very African map. If you want to do some campaigns or missions in like an African type setting that is not Isla Duala, is not all desert, this one right here is a lot more green. It's got a lot of vegetation in it. It's really, really good. And then there's Tanoa. I am also running the Unsung mod currently, which is where I get all these Vietnam maps from. So if you like doing the Vietnam thing, you want to do some Vietnam, some period type missions, go back in time a little bit. The Unsung mod is incredible. It's huge. There are literally thousands of assets that it will give you, all of them based during the Vietnam era. This includes everything from artillery to aircraft to helos, and then all of these maps here, as well as a just a ton of uniforms, weapons, grenades, explosives, landmines, booby traps. Unsung is an incredible mod to have if you're into the Vietnam era. Highly recommend it. Um, so we're going to load up Fallujah. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go through my process of building a mission. A couple of things you want to keep in mind when you start building a mission, is do you want to have this mission be, is it going to be a localized? That is, are your objectives going to be close together, or are you going to use the full range of the map and have to use, helo transport or something like that, to get your players around the map? Um, for doing this simple mission, I'm going to make it where you can. I'm going to put some objectives kind of scattered um, throughout this city. The Fallujah map, if you don't have it, is absolutely huge. We'll go in right here. This is the city of Fallujah. Um, I have read a bunch of stuff about the guys who did this map. As far as the city streets and where everything is located, it's all historically accurate, as well as the bridges that cross the Euphrates River, um, and all that. There's also a dam down here, with a dam. There's bridges that go across this waterway right here. Um, there is a huge airstrip right down here, um, and then up here there's a couple of really cool locations. Um, this one, it's like a little compound. I've used this for my bases before, which is really, really cool. There's another one up here at the top of the map, very north, that is already put together. It's already got walls and barracks and everything. Um, so just for simplicity's sake, we'll use this, but I'm also going to show you a mod that I have downloaded in my ARMA called ZEC Compositions. Um, there's also an additional um, thing with ZEC. It's like an upgrade of Eden Editor, which allows you to do a bunch more stuff. It has waypoints in it, a whole bunch of other cool things to use for mission making. Um, so let's start with ZEC Compositions first. When you download ZEC Compositions, basically what it is um, it has a bunch of compositions built as far as just settings. Basically, I'll show you what I mean. This is the list for ZEC compositions within my game. So if I wasn't going to use this huge complex that's already made, and I just wanted to put me a temporary fob for, say, on this map somewhere, and you don't really know, I'll show you how to manipulate objects right quick. But this is really, really good to have because everything is pre-made for you. So if you come over here to Military Desert, for example, and it pulls down a drop-down menu, and then you just look for whatever you're wanting. We're wanting to build a small fob out in the middle of nowhere. You can do HQ, select Cargo Post, and then you immediately see all the yellow icons for all the objects. So you just click it and puts it down in place, and bam, you have an instant fob right here. So you don't have to search through all the objects and find all these individual things. They're already gathered right here for you. In this version of ZEC, you'll see a Russian flag and you'll see an American flag. That's on most of the stuff here. If you select the American one, obviously it's going to put down American type assets. I call them set dressings. Think of it like building a movie set, so to speak. So if you select the American one, the US one, it's going to give you like the US flag, and it's going to give you US ammo crates, US generators, and that kind of thing. If you select the Russian one, let's delete this. You just draw a box around it. Hold down left mouse and click and draw. You can see in this green box that I've got. You can highlight all or some of these objects. Then you can left click, hold down, and then you can drag these anywhere you want to. Or if you choose, you put something down and you're like, I don't really like that one, let's get rid of it and do it over. So you can just hit your delete key and it will disappear. Now if you look over here, follow my pointer, you will see HQ Cargo Post, and it's in a little folder right here. Since we're not using that anymore, we want to delete that off of our list of entities over here on the left-hand column. But let's do a large HQ instead, and let's make it a Russian one and place that down. So you can see not really a whole lot of Russian stuff in this one. I was expecting like a Russian flag or something. So many of these I still haven't seen because there's so many options. But here's your cargo post. And if there's something on there that you don't like you're like, I don't want this bunker set here, I just want to get rid of it, you could just highlight it. Like I said, just draw the box over it with your green box. That is, hold down your left mouse button and then pull, and it'll draw a box for you. You can grab objects all at once and hit the delete key, delete them. If you do delete something and you're like, oh crap, I didn't mean to do that, you can come back up here to edit and just select undo, and it will put it back. You can do that as many times, go back as many times as you want. So if you're working with objects and you're like, oh man, I really like the way that it was before, if you've done a lot of work, sometimes it's easier just to go and just delete it. Remember to get rid of it over here, and then come back and just place it again. With placing these objects, you can hold down your left shift key with all of these objects highlighted. So hold down your left shift, left mouse button, and then you can spin and rotate this as well. You can also raise and lower it. So if you want to, say you're wanting to get this up on top of a mountain and you didn't quite get it right, especially with sloping terrain, varied terrain, like this hill over here, for example, you can place these objects down, and a lot of them won't contact the ground. So you'll have to come in here and raise and lower them. The way you do that is you'll just highlight whatever object that you're wanting to raise and lower. Let's just play with this one. You can hit Q and raise it up, hit Z and lower it back down to the ground. Some of these, depending on the terrain that you place it on, you might not get it exactly level, or it'll be high, you know, and you'll want to readjust it. You might want to set it down lower to the ground, because some of these are, you can see how big the actual object is. So when you place this in the ground, you can actually lower it sometimes lower than what it's actually placed. Sometimes you can raise it up just a little bit if you want it just a little bit higher. So there's that, raising and lowering objects, and then using the left shift and your left mouse button to manipulate those. So let's move this back over here where it was. Let's stick it right there. And so let's say we're going to use this for our fob, and we like where this is placed. So we'll leave that there for now. Let's go ahead and put, we want to have our team have access to helos, and so the helos are going to need a place to land. So you can come over here and select heliports, maybe heliports medium. It'll do a landing zone for you, complete with a helicopter pad, and bam, that's it, you're done. And so there's your base. At this point, what you could do is, if you like the placement of everything, this is where you want your base to be situated. Then at this point you can go ahead and put your players down that you're going to play. But this is Zek Compositions. It's super cool. Saves a lot of time when you're editing missions, building missions for the very first time. Highly recommend it. I will put a link for it in the description of the video, so you can download it if you don't have it. But there's tons of stuff in here. There's even civilian stuff. You can do editor supplies. Look, there's filler, miscellaneous, and it'll do, you can just put this down, and then, so like if you wanted to use this as like what I call set dressing, you can put this down and bring it into your composition here, and place that, and bam, you've got junk piles, there's garbage, there's ammo crates, there's all kinds of stuff, you know, that you can use to kind of dress up your base, make it a little more realistic for your team members. Keep in mind, if you have players that have low-end PCs, the more objects you put down, the more it will slow your overall, those players' overall FPS. So because every time this mission loads, it has to populate all this stuff, and so it can cause slow loads. It can cause a drop in FPS when the game is running. When you launch the mission, everybody's playing it. So if you're fairly confident that most of the players that you play with have decent PCs, I've got a pretty high-end rig, so I don't have any problem. I can place literally hundreds and thousands of objects. It doesn't slow me down at all, but just something to keep in mind. So if you are using objects, Make sure that everybody on your team is okay with that, with what their PC can handle. Um, just something to keep in mind. But Zet compositions, highly recommend it. It's almost a must-have for my editing. I use it all the time. Um, but anyway, we're going to use this pre-made base. And so, first things first, what you want to do, you're going to want to place your players. Let's just go with blue 4. Get off of groups. I'll go over this right quick too. This is objects. This is live objects. So anything that you put down that is going to be blue, op4, or independent, or civilian, these are going to be actual AI controlled units. So you can put down vehicles that are already crewed with troops and everything inside. Um, you can also select these if you want them to be put down empty. Like say we wanted to use these Dingo 2 trucks, but we wanted to have our players be able to drive them. So you don't want them placed crewed. You're just going to hold down your left Alt button, and you'll notice that this little icon turns yellow. Basically dumps all the crew out of the vehicle and places it empty on your map for you. Again, left shift and your left mouse, you can spin this. You turn it around. You can raise it up and down if you want. And so when the mission starts, these vehicles will load empty, and any of the players on your team will have access to this vehicle. You can do that with anything, whether it's vehicles, helos, planes, all of it. You can put them down on the map for players to use. Even though in this list they're crewed. The other way to keep from doing it using your Alt key, if you don't want to do that, just come down to the bottom of this right above Play Scenario, and you can untick this box, Place Vehicles with Crew. That way you can place this down, not have to use the Alt button, and it puts it down crewless, if you'd rather do it that way. I never know what I'm going to be using when I build a mission, so I leave that box checked. If I want it empty, I'll just Alt and place it down empty. Otherwise, you're going back and forth, and you're like, I want to do a patrolling truck that's crewed, and you go to place it down and it's empty, and then you have to go back and tick this box and then replace it. It's kind of a hassle. So I just leave this box checked all the time. So let's put our base, let's put our starting point for our team. We'll just use the front of this barracks building right here. So typically, again, with Zet compositions, I like to dress it up just a little. It gives it a little more realism for your players when they're playing. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do HQ small. Let's just do a mobile HQ, and then I'll show you how to pick and choose what you want and move this stuff around so that you can kind of make a decent base. So I'm going to place this down. And these are all the objects that come with the little mobile HQ, and this is the US version. So we've got armored vehicle. This is all one piece. This little thing right here, you mouse over it, you can move it. It's got little signs around it and everything. There's nothing you can do. You can't enter this. You can't use any of the equipment. It's just it's kind of like I said, it's a set dressing. So you can put it down or not and get rid of it, whatever you want to do, which is typically what I'll do. I'll put down a bunch of objects and decide what I want to use and what I want to keep. I like all of this right here, so I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to keep this. I'm going to spin this around a little bit. Let's do this way. I'm going to drag this over here next to this little barracks building, and it's basically like a little command tent. It's got tables and chairs and kind of stuff that you would see in a fob. It's got a generator here, a bunch of pallets. And like I said, you can pick and choose, take out what you want, leave what you want, but we'll put that there. And go back to single objects. And let's say you know exactly what you want. You're looking for a flag. So you can go to the search bar here and type in flag, and it will immediately go to all the flags in the game. Same as if you know you want sandbags. You can do sandbag. Spell it correctly. No. Do sandbags, and it will pull up all the sandbag objects in the game. Again, this is pulling from all the mods that I currently run in the game. So if you're not seeing these, some of these are from, and it'll tell you what they are. These are all from unsung objects. All these down through here. Um, some of these are biz. So like if you have like the Tanoa map, some of these will come from Tanoa. Some of these others come from Altus. Um, if you're running just the biz version of the game. Um, Another point I will make right now too, in mission building, if you are running mods in your game, uh, everyone that plays said missions, when you build that mission and use those mods, if you use any object, I mean, if you use a spray paint can or this crate, and it is from a mod that one of your other players is not running, they will not be able to load that mission. They'll try to launch the mission and it'll say, you can't play because you're missing such and such content. So be aware, if you're using mods, all of the players that are going to play that mission need to be running those mods. All the members of Badger Team, we all run the same mod set. So anytime I build a mission, I use the same mods. I never change them. If I do change them, I send my team an update saying, hey, I just downloaded this new mod. It's cool. It's got this and that in it. I'm using it in a mission. You guys need to download it and install it in your game before we'll be able to play the next mission. So if you are using mods, if you're using, you know, Cup Terrains, if you're using RHS, if you're using Community Factions Project, if you're using Community Upgrade Project, any of the Cup weapons, units, vehicles, any of that in your mission build, anybody that plays the mission is going to have that mod downloaded and put into their ARMA for them to be able to load the mission. Basically what happens is if they don't have that mod, they go to launch the mission, it'll say, you know, it'll basically kick them right out of the server and say, hey, you don't have, you know, cup weapons, you know, this mission contains cup weapons, you don't have it, you can't play. And so they'll have to download it before they're able to launch the mission. So keep that in mind when you're building. If you do use mods, make sure that you use the same ones all of the time. Make sure all your players have the same ones all the time. Otherwise, it's going to be a real frustrating endeavor. Somebody goes to launch the mission and you're like, oh crud, I forgot, I downloaded this new mod, it's got these objects in it, and I forgot, and everybody needs to download it. Just kind of hangs up game time when you go to launch the mission and everybody doesn't have what you built the mission with. It's kind of frustrating, just speaking from experience. So back to flags. I want to put a American flag in front of this this fob. So I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to find a US flag if I can. Crap ton of flags. US, where are you? United States, there we go, and bam, there's your flag. You can put that there. So you've got your fob built, you've got your objects. Let's put down a couple of vehicles. The other thing too is, like I said, when you go to start to build a mission, you need to kind of have a formulated plan of where's this mission at, what am I going to have the team do, what is going to be the basic premise of the mission. Is it going to be a long mission? Do I want a 30-minute mission? Do I want a 2-hour mission? These kind of things you need to kind of think about ahead of time before you get into editor and decide you want to build a mission. For this one, we're just going to do a basic fob, a basic team. We're going to do a couple of objectives. I want to show you how to use some supports and how to tie supports to your team so they can call artillery, call helo support if they need it, and that kind of thing. So just keep that in mind when you're building a mission. You know, how long you want it to be. A couple of objectives, if you want them, especially if they're using, you know, helo transport to get from objective to objective. A couple of objectives on a map this big, it's usually about 45 minutes to an hour worth of gameplay, depending on the strength of your team, how many people are playing. It's another thing to take into consideration. You know, if you've got a 12-man team that you're playing, you got 12 live players, you put 2 objectives on the map. You know, it's not a whole lot of enemy, maybe 30 or 40 enemies to take out, to fight. It's probably not going to take 12 guys that long. Most Badger team mission sessions, we have 5 players maximum. We're a pretty small unit, and so 2 to 3 objectives, 4, that's a good 2 hours worth of gameplay for us. So just keep in mind the scope of your mission when you start to build. what you want to do and how long you want it to take to play. Um, so let's place our blue 4 team. Let's do British. Haven't done British in a while. Let's do desert camo. And so you'll want a team leader. Let's put him down. Automatically, when you place a team leader, he's going to have a red circle around his icon. That means that this is you. You're the player. Um, you can go in and you can double click on him, and it will give you this box. You can see that the player box is checked. Leave all of this alone. You don't really need to mess with any of this since it's going to be live players. If this was going to be an AI guy, you might turn up his skill level. You might want to give him a different rank. But for right now, we're going to leave everything the same on this guy. So if I'm making this for, let's say, a team of 5, we're going to want a team leader. Let's do a rifleman. Again, when you place this guy down, double click on him, and you're going to make sure that he's playable, and hit OK. His circle will turn pink around him. That just lets you know that he's a playable character, that one of your players can jump into this guy's body. So we've got a rifleman. Let's do a rifleman AT. Put him down. Let's do a machine gunner. And then let's do a marksman, maybe a sharpshooter of some kind. Sharpshooter, that's good. And again, you'll notice that these 3 players do not have their pink circles, which means they're not selected as playable. Always remember to change that. Otherwise, you'll launch this mission, and this guy and this guy will be the only playable characters that can be selected in the load screen. So we're going to go in and make all of these guys playable. And so here's our team. One of the things I like to do, since I know what all of my team members like to play, is you can go in and edit the loadouts of these characters before the game even launches. If you want to give guys specific kits to run, like I know what rifle my sharpshooter likes to run. I know what type of machine gun my machine gunner likes to run. And so generally I will go in and I will set these guys up before I even launch the mission, before I even do anything else. I'll tailor kit these guys so all of my players will have the weapons that they like to use before the mission starts. If you want a historical mission, force your players to play with historical accurate weapons for whatever historically accurate mission you might be trying to portray, that's fine. Just leave them alone. If not, you can right click on any of these characters and go all the way down to edit loadout. And what that's going to do is that's going to throw you into the arsenal, basically, and you can change everything just like you can if you're in the virtual arsenal. I trust that everybody knows what the virtual arsenal is and how to manipulate that, but this is basically what it's going to take you to. So now we're in the virtual arsenal. I can tailor this guy now to what I want. So if I want to change his weapon setup, I can come in here and give him a different rifle. Again, I'm running a lot of mods, so if you're not seeing this stuff, it's just because you don't have the same mod set as I do. I will put in the description of this video kind of a list of the mods that are my go-to mods. The main ones are CUP. It's Community Upgrade Project is what it stands for. There are CUP terrains, which is where I get all my maps. There are CUP units, there are CUP weapons, and there are CUP vehicles. Awesome mod to have. If you don't have it, I highly recommend it. Again, I'll put the link for its download in the description. The other one that I like to run is all of the RHS mods. So there's RHS US AF, which is United States Armed Forces. It's all of the Russian, any modern Russian forces. There are also 2 more. There's RHS Gref, and then there's another one that gives you units from like Serbia, I think. But any of the RHS stuff is top notch. All the models are great. It's all historically, it's period accurate gear. So all the up-to-date AKs from AK-103 all the way up to 74s, AK-12s, any of the AK models that you want. or in RHS. You also get a lot with the cup mods. Um, Another mod that is one of my go-to is called CFP. It's Community Faction Project, and I'll show you some of those units here in a minute. But if you really want to open up the door to a lot of varied units that you don't usually see, forces from Sudan, Iraq during the Gulf War of 1991, that Community Faction Project has those units in it. Somali pirates, Hezbollah, all kinds of enemy units that you don't really get with the biz version of the game, or even cup units. It's bigger than cup units. Community Faction Project is bigger than cup units, and cup is a really, really huge mod. So back to the editing kits. Remember, if you change the weapon, you're also going to have to change the ammo that person carries. So let's come in here and add some mags and some new frags. This guy looks like he's got a radio pack on. So what sidearm is he carrying? Glock 17. Again, some of these, if you're not seeing them, it's because you don't have the mods. So don't freak out if you're not seeing these. It's just because you don't have the mod loaded. Wow, that radio backpack's got a lot of space in it. That's crazy. Let's do some pistol mags. Come over here. Let's add some. These are Russian smokes. The BRD M83. All those are Russian. If you want American, there's probably British in here too. These are British frags. L1091. Those are British frags. M67. That's American frags. The more you play ARMA, the more, if you play ARMA anyway, you're probably into military shit already, so you probably know what a lot of this stuff is. If you don't, the more you edit, the more you build missions, the more you will learn all the different types of grenades and what they are. A good way to do that is go into Virtual Arsenal and experiment and play with them. Once you've got your kit set, just hit OK. And when you go into the mission, bam, he's got the new kit that you just gave him. I will tell you that if you are running any of these mods, one of the things that you'll want to uncheck if you've specifically kitted these players is to check these two boxes. Override a live Orbat loadout and disable CFP randomization. This will only show up if you're running the CFP mod. Basically what it means is you want this kit to stay the same when the game launches. If those boxes aren't checked, 95% of the time it will revert back to what the kit was for this troop right here, what the soldier was originally placed down with. So all of your kit tweaking and adjusting will be all for nothing if you don't check those two boxes and disable that randomization. So alright, so we've got our team down. Let's go ahead and deal with supports next. We want to give these guys some vehicles. We're in British, so let's stick with the British theme. Let's give them some cars. Let's do a Coyote wagon. Very cool truck. It's got a general purpose machine gun in the front. M2 on top. Let's do a Jackal, which is a smaller version of this vehicle. Again, I believe these British guys came with cup units. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure on that. So you've got a couple of truck options. If they decide they want to, if you're going to leave it up to the team to decide how they're going to execute this mission, which is what I usually do, you could put down empty vehicles. You could even give them armor if you wanted to, give them an APC. These are just light skin vehicles, but if you wanted to give them, personnel carriers, a little bit of armor protection, or even armor, if you wanted to put down tanks, we could put down tanks for them to drive. It just kind of gives the team a little bit more options as far as how to facilitate the mission, how to execute the mission. If they want to drive in or if they want to fly in, I always give my team the option to do so. With that being said, let's come over here and we will put down a, let's do a British helicopter. If you have any pilots in your team, people that like to fly or are good at flying, you can put down a helicopter that is that is empty. That way they can fly themselves. I always give my guys the option. If they want to fly themselves, they can. So I'm going to put down an empty chopper here. This is a Wildcat. It's got rockets and it's got a gun on the other side. I think it's a 20 millimeter. And then the doors can open too. So this helo will seat all of these 5 guys. I think it'll hold like nine people. This helo. But let's say you want to give them the option to have them taken somewhere. What we can do is we can add supports. I'll show you how to do that right now. Supports are under F5 systems, and then you're going to go to supports. And in order to activate the supports, you're going to need to do a couple of things. One, you need a way to request the support, and so you need to put down a support requester. I want all of my team at all times to be able to, any member of the team, to be able to request a support, whether that's artillery or helicopter support, whether it's an attack helo or a transport helo. You never know who's going to go down in a fight, and so you want to have most of your team, at least more than one, have access to be able to call those supports. So you're going to want to link your team to the support requester. So I'm going to highlight these guys. Blue boxes are around them. And you're going to right click on one of them and hit connect and sync to support requester. And now what we want to do is we want to have them be able to call a transport helo. And so we're going to do helicopter transport virtual. You can do helicopter transport that is not virtual, but you actually have to have a crewed helicopter over here on one of these helicopter pads in order for that to work. Helicopter virtual is just, it's quicker and it's easier. Basically the way that it works is you will put down helicopter transport virtual, place it on a helicopter pad, and then you're going to link, connect, sync to, and then tie that to your support requester. How I'm doing that is you just right click on the module and hit connect and then sync to, and it will give you a line to connect to sync to your modules. So what will happen with this setup is that, say my team decide, okay, to our first objective we're going to take a helo ride there. So any one of the team members can do hit the number 0 and then the number 8 on their keyboard. At that point they will be presented with a menu in the top left corner of their screen, and it will say request supports. On the player screen, the way that it is shown is there's a helicopter icon for transport. There's also a different icon for attack helicopters. So if you want attack helicopter support, say your guys are pinned by enemy fire, they've got a position, they've got a vehicle that they didn't expect show up, they're being engaged, they're kind of overwhelmed, they want to call in an attack helicopter to come support them, they can choose, you can put down the second module, which is this helicopter attack virtual. We'll put this on the same helicopter pad and sync it to the request module. Now not only can your team call a transport helo to come and pick them up, but they can call helicopter support to engage enemy targets on the ground. You can do that with a bombing run, CAS bombing run, so it will call actual fighter jet. A10, it'll give you a list of options of the different fighter planes that you can use. And so you can tell these planes to come in and take out the vehicle that you're having to deal with or whatever, just by using this. And so 08 on the keyboard is what your player will select. Then they can choose the type of helicopter that they want. With this module being right here for the helicopter transport, if they call that helo, say they select a Merlin helicopter to come and transport them, about 500 feet or so above this marker, that helicopter will spawn. It'll land right here or wherever the team tell it to come and land. So they can choose a spot out here in the open. They can basically point and click to a spot on the map. That helo will spawn here, then it will fly to the location they selected and land. Team can get on the helicopter, and then once they're inside, it will give them an option to say, hey, where do you want to go? You click on M on the keyboard for the map, pull up the map, and then tell it to land at such and such spot, and it will come and land there for you to transport you. With the attack helicopter, if you were to call that unit and say you're out in the field and you're looking at an enemy vehicle, you can look at that vehicle, call that attack helicopter, and say, hey, strike this vehicle. And then that helo will spawn at this helicopter pad, fly to your team's location, and engage whatever they told it to engage, whether it's an APC or a tank or whatever it is. Um, and it works that way. When that mission is complete, when the vehicle is eliminated, that helicopter will fly back. It'll fly off into the distance, disappear, and then you'll get a notice. The pilot will tell you, CAS mission complete or helicopter support complete, returning to base. So it's kind of cool. So now at this point, your team has the option to call a transport helo. They can fly themselves in the empty helo, or they can use these vehicles right here and drive themselves to, the first mission site. So this is a basic setup. Let's go ahead and give these guys some support as well. And I will show you how to do this with live units. So we want to put down some live artillery units so the guys can have some fire support when they're downrange. So we're going to do support provider artillery. We're going to right click on this and hit sync to support requester. But we want to put down some live artillery units for the team to have access to, for them to call. Let's go back over here to British and let's do turrets and see what's available over here. Let's just do an 81mm mortar. You can set them out here in the open, but generally what I like to do, just for the sake of realism, is I will sort of dress them up just a little bit. So we're going to look for fortifications, bunkers, small. Let's come in here and let's do sandbag. So we'll put this here. Not what I wanted. Let's delete that. Let's do just sandbags and see what that does. Okay, that's better. I don't really like this busted truck here, so I'm going to take it out. Let's move this stuff over here this way. And let's put, so we're going to pick up our mortar and we're going to put it right here inside this. So your artillery, your mortar unit is placed. Now what you want to do is you want to right click on him and sync him to the support provider artillery. So now not only does your team have access to an attack helo support, but they also have a mortar battery that they can call to put mortars on targets if they need to, assuming that they are in range. This is a huge map, so you can see where we're at. This mortar does have a limited range. My guess is it would probably only be able to reach about this far. If you wanted to give them long range support, i.e. be able to reach targets that are further away than what this mortar can reach, we can put down an artillery unit. And I will show you how to do that with something that is not British. So like I said, I'm running a lot of mods. Another one that I'm running is called RACS. It's the Royal Army Corps of Serrani. It is an awesome mod that comes with a ton of units, not just troops that you can use as independent forces, but a ton of vehicles. The coolest thing is the artillery corps. To my knowledge, this is the only mod that accurately depicts an M198 howitzer, and there it is right there. I'll just place it empty. This thing is a beast. I mean, it's got a range of like 20 miles, so it can shoot over the city and then some, as far as supports. And there's multiple different rounds you can call from this artillery piece. It not only does high explosive, but it'll do laser guided rounds. So if any of your team is using a laser designator, say you're engaged with a T-72 downrange, you're out of AT rounds and you're like, crap, this thing's chewing us up, we've got to get rid of this thing, call your 155 battery here and tell it to use a laser guided artillery round, laze that tank with a laser designator, and tell this thing to fire one round, and that laser guided artillery round will be fired, go to the target, and then it uses the technology that it does and homes in on that laser beam and can take out a tank. It's pretty sweet. So right now this thing is put down empty, so we want to crew it with a British crew. So I've selected this unit from a totally different set of units, but I've put it down empty. And now I want to crew it with a blue 4 British crew. So I'm going to come back over here to my guys. I'm going to do rifleman, put him down. You can left click and hold on it and move that unit around. Put it on top of the unit that you want it to crew. You'll see this icon change. All the arrows are pointing out. Now they're pointing in, which is telling you you're fixing to put this guy into this unit. And then just let off your left mouse button and bam, he's crewing it now. Takes a little more than one guy, so you want to put more than one guy here. We're going to give it a, I think it's a crew of 4. So you've got the crew leader. You've got a couple of loaders. Barrel swab guy. I think that's it. Four guys for that howitzer. Once it's crewed, you can highlight on it, hit right click, connect, sync to, and then just sync that to your artillery provider. And now you have mortars and you have a 155 gun that you can call for artillery support. So you've got the team, you've got your base, you've got ways for your troops to get to and from objectives. You've given them support options for them to call once they're downrange on target. So let's go give them something to shoot at. Let's go give them some objectives. Let's come over here, this empty area. Thinking about giving them maybe some type of enemy camp to engage. Looks good right here. So again, I'm going to go back to my compositions since things are already built for me. Let's do guerrilla, since we're probably going to have these guys fighting some sort of terrorist group, ISIS, maybe Al-Qaeda, maybe Taliban, something like that, since we're in Fallujah. Let's do an outpost medium. Let's do a destroyed house and see what that gives us. And so here we've got a destroyed house that's kind of fortified. Let's kind of spin this around a little bit. Again, you can mix and match these. Really, it's all up to your imagination. Let's get rid of this flag and give them, let's just say we're going to be fighting ISIS. Let's look up flags again. Let's go down and see if we can find us an ISIS flag to put in this bunker. Insurgent, Islamic State of Afghanistan, Islamic State of Iraq. That's good. And so there's your Al-Qaeda flag. Not sure if they would do that or not, but this is theirs, and they're going to make it their little base. I don't like this off-road. Let's get rid of it, and let's get rid of the fuel truck that's back here and put something a little more realistic down. Let's actually go to ISIS units and see what they have to put down here. Islamic State is right here. Let's do cars. And you can see all the different units here that I have available to me just from running this mod. All kinds of cool terrorist trucks. I got an armored Hilux with a rocket thing on the back. It's kind of interesting. It's different. Let's do a typical terrorista pickup truck here. Put it at the back. Let's see, it's got all the Islamic writing and stuff on the hood. It's pretty cool. PK machine gun on the back, on the roof. So let's give the team, now you're thinking in terms of enemy instead of from the player side. So what would make a good objective for your team to try to assault and control, eliminate? Maybe there's a comms bunker here that you want them to take out the comm station. That's always a good objective. Eliminate the radio tower, something like that. So we can do that too. So we're going to make this a little ISIS compound with a radio tower communication station to take out and destroy. Let's go back to our ZEC compositions. Go to Gorilla, and let's look for communications. Maybe there's not one. Let's do what do we got? Medical, fuel. Fuel could be a good one. If you wanted to take out a fuel dump or something like that, we could do that too. But I'm not really seeing anything comms related. Let's do Cup Desert. That's not going to do anything. Cup Military. Let's do Communications Medium. And there's the OP4 radio tower. Let's put this down and see what this looks like. Alright, so there's this little radio tower set up. Basically, I've got my compound, so I don't really need all of this stuff. So I'm going to get rid of this. Again, drag, hold down your left mouse button, drag, and highlight it all. Then you can hit delete, and it'll delete it. I just want this right here is what I want. This radio tower and generator. Get rid of the rest of this, delete that. And so now you see I've used my ZEC compositions, but I've modified it a little bit. I've pulled these units out of here, or pulled the objects out, deleted what I didn't want, kept what I liked. And so yeah, let's make this an objective where they're going to have to, your team's going to have to take out this radio tower. So let's put some enemies on this map. Let's put some enemies for them to fight. Let's go back to our Islamic State guys. Let's go ahead and give them one vehicle to deal with. Let's do cars. Let's do a something with a M2. Let's put this down. Crude. So there's our ISIS team and our little Land Rover. Check it out. It's got 2 guys already. Let's give this truck another troop just to fill it up. Let's go to men. Let's do an ISIS Grenadier. Put him down. And then I'm going to put him in the truck. You just drag him and swing him onto the truck. Wait for your little icon to change. Arrows facing in. And it'll put him in the front seat. I think that's all that this vehicle will hold. You will know so because if you go to put it in there and it turns orange, it's basically telling you this vehicle's full, like this. That's as many guys as this vehicle will hold. So you can't place this guy down, which is not a bad thing. We're going to keep him. Let's put him here. You notice that he's got a grouped line. He's part of this truck group. You don't want to leave him that way because what's going to happen is when we put a patrol waypoint on this vehicle, this guy on foot is basically going to be running alongside this truck, so we don't want that. So if you want to ungroup a person from something that he's grouped to now, just make sure that he's highlighted. You can do that by just drawing a box around him and highlighting him. And then you're going to hold down your left control key, left mouse click, and then draw this orange line off of him, and it will ungroup him from this unit over here. So now he's basically standing here on his own. He's going to do his own thing once stuff pops off. So we're going to put this guy here. Let's put a couple more guys, a few more guys actually. Let's do a rifleman. Let's put him here. Let's do another auto rifleman here. Again, with changing kits, you can do the same thing with enemy as you can with your team. So if you don't like what this guy's carrying, you can go in, like I said, you can right click, go down to edit loadout, change his AK, give him a headdress, change his uniform, change his camo, give him a different plate carrier, whatever you think you want to do. And just remember to check these boxes so that he doesn't revert back to his old kit once the mission launches. I'm not really going to mess with that for this mission. I'm just going to put him down generic. You can see that he is grouped to this guy. I don't really want that, so I'm going to ungroup him from him. So I kind of want him to do his own thing once stuff pops off. Once these guys are engaged, they'll kind of fight for themselves. Let's put an RPG guy up in here. Let's do another machine gunner. Ungroup him. Put him kind of up here in the house. Let's go to the back here under this camo net. Again, I'm manipulating this, my vision, my camera. If you want to look around, hold down your right mouse button. Should have gone over this very first thing as far as editor manipulation. but if you hold down your right mouse button, you can look around. If you want to get higher, just hit Q. If you want to go lower, just hit Z. That's how I'm getting up inside these buildings and stuff, hitting Q and Z, moving the camera around, such. I'm going to come in here at the end of this hallway. I want to place a let's do another rifleman right here. Ungroup him from those guys. Let's come into this room. Let's put a guy back here. Ungroup him. So he's kind of back here guarding this doorway. I'll cover this right quick. You can tell these enemy units to do specific things by using waypoints. If you want to do waypoints, you can. You can make these guys stand completely still. You can put waypoints on them that'll tell them to guard. You can tell them to be a sentry. All of these things dictate their behavior once the mission starts. So if you want to play with that in your missions, you can click on these guys and then hold down left shift and right click, and it will give you this waypoint. I want this guy to stand right behind these sandbags, but I want him to kind of be on guard. So with this waypoint set down, again, this is, you highlight the unit, hold down left shift, right click, it will give you a move waypoint. To change this waypoint from move, double click on it and it will give you this option. You will see all these different options here. I want this guy to guard this one spot right here. I would strongly recommend, unless you really, once you're really deep into editing and you've done some research, I would research these combat modes and behaviors. Generally there's only a couple that I will mess with. If I want him to not be affected in any way whatsoever, I will leave this as unchanged. But behavior wise, you can put them on safe or aware or on combat. If you mouse over these, it'll tell you what they do. Safe, non-combat behavior, characters have weapons lowered, vehicles follow road and use lights. They automatically switch to aware upon spotting a threat. And this is aware. This is the default behavior. Characters are in ready position, vehicles prefer roads, but do not use lights and their passengers will disembark to counter threats. Then if you go to combat, this is a firefight behavior. Characters break formation and take cover, vehicles ignore roads and do not use lights. Highly recommend never using careless. Do not ever use careless. It basically takes all intelligence away from an AI unit. They don't know what to do. If you hit careless, they basically really do not know what to do. Your guys, if you changed all the AI to careless in this mission, your team could basically drive up on them. The enemy would look at them and be like, hey, what's going on, guys? Your guys could open fire on them, and unless somebody gets shot and killed, they're not going to shoot back really. They don't really do anything. So stay away from the careless mode in the behavior. Do not use careless ever. Strongly do not recommend, never use careless. But I want this guy aware. I want him to kind of be on the alert. Same with these other guys. So I'm going to give them, I'm going to put him on guard as well. And I'm going to set him to aware. If you want some totally unpredictability, just leave them as they are. They'll do their own thing. Once they catch sight of your blue 4 team, they'll do their own thing. They'll engage, they'll throw grenades, they'll pop smokes, they'll find cover. ARMA 3 has gotten really good with their AI. It's still not perfect, but it's still really, really good. Again, research the behaviors, go on the biz forums and find out what the behaviors do. Again, 50%, 60% of editing is try, fail, try again. You'll learn what works, what doesn't work. You can have these guys on certain behaviors. You'll play the mission through. You'll be like, these guys aren't even shooting at me. I'm going to take them off this behavior and I'm going to change them back to, back to just basic. I don't even want to change the behavior at all. A lot of mission editing is just, it's a lot of testing and it's a lot of seeing what works and what doesn't. And that's how you learn to edit. That's how I learned, and that's how most people learn. And then the more you build missions, the more you create tasks and you know, edit behaviors and use waypoints and that kind of thing, you will learn what works and what doesn't work. It's really too much to go in depth of here, and without making this video like 5 hours long. So just to change the behavior of a few guys, I'm going to leave the rest of them the way that they are. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's put one guy underneath this camo net over here. Let's make him a grenadier. And so just to go over this again, I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit this guy's kit. So I'm going to go down to edit, loadout. You can see it already changed him a little bit from what he was. But really, you can go crazy with this stuff. You can spend hours editing and changing and you know, making your enemies exactly what you want them. Let's give him a handgun. Let's change his rifle. Let's give him a desert AK, the grenade launcher. Let's give him a Russian sight on there too. Again, if you're changing weapons, you might want to go back and replace the magazines, because anytime you change magazines, or anytime you change weapons, it's going to delete all ammo from their kit. So I'm going to go back in and re-kit this guy, give him a few grenades, and give him some grenades for his GP25 grenade launcher that he's got on his rifle. He's got 1. Let's give him 3. Let's see what he's got in his backpack. Nothing. So let's give him some more grenades for his launcher, and maybe a couple of 60-round magazines. Let's give him a med kit too, and yeah, let's call it good. Alright, so that's the new guy. Remember again to check these 2 boxes so it won't revert back to the way he was before. And now we have our first objective. This is where you're going to tell your guys, this is where enemy are, and this is where your objective is. We're going to take out this radio tower. So you're thinking, how do we tell the guys exactly where to go and where the enemy is and what their objective is? This is probably the most complicated part of mission building, but I'll try to make it as easy as I can. In your F5 systems, these are a list of all the modules that you have under system modules. You're only going to need a few things. For this basic mission tutorial, we're going to tell the guys where there is a task, so we're going to create a task. We're going to put the marker here. Once this is placed, double click on it. In order for your team to see where this enemy location is, and in order for them to receive this even as an objective, you want to change this to blue 4. Owner blue 4. What that means is this task is going to show up in the task list when the mission starts for your team to see. You can put a description here. Let's call this task alpha, and you can write a brief description. This will show up in the task list when the mission starts. If they click on this task, this will be the description that the players read as this is what you want them to do. So let's say there is a known ISIS at this location. Assault the ISIS fob and destroy the comms tower. So that's a small gist of what you can go as detailed with it as you want. You can have it as simple as you want. Go here, blow up this thing. Or you can actually type out a really, really long description. You can give the team any information that you think they might know, they might want to know, i.e. there's at least one technical vehicle on site that we know of. You can put AA positions down, let the team know, hey, there's possible AA on site, be aware of that if you're flying in. They do have anti-air capability, so if you're flying a helo in, you probably don't want to fly your helo in and land it right out here somewhere, because you're probably going to get shot at or get shot down. Any kind of pertinent information that you want this task to tell your team, you might want to list it here. So let's go ahead and put that. There's at least one technical vehicle on site. Again, information like this lets your team know, okay, if we've got a vehicle, maybe one of us might want to carry an AT launcher of some kind, or some way to deal with this vehicle once we get to this objective. Um, Once you've got your description down, you can go down to the next portion. Destination, you want this at the module position. If you want them to find it, you can disable it. It will not put a marker on the map to show them where to go. I hardly ever use that option just for, speed's sake. Keeps the guys from, driving around looking for something. So we want this as module position. For the state, you want it to say created. And then for the task type, you can change the marker. So we want this to be a destroy marker. And then hit OK. So now, when the mission launches, your team will be displayed. It will show this task and this marker at this location, so they will know, hey, you need to come to this spot and engage. This is your objective that you need to engage. The second thing we want to do is we want to set a mission state for when this mission is completed. This is called a set task state. It's under the same module set as Intel. So go down here to task state, select that marker, and put that down. You're going to double click on that and then hit succeeded. Okay, that's all you need to do with this module. Just tell it you want it to be succeeded. When the team completes the objective, it will notify the team, hey, comms tower has been destroyed, this mission has been a success, and then they can move on to the next objective. How do we get that module to fire? Is we want to give this tower a name. The tower is what we want to actually destroy. So find the tower. This is it right here. Make sure that it's highlighted and then double click on that. For the variable name, you need to give it one. So do something simple. Comms. Easy enough. Okay. So now that our objective is named, we want a way to let the team know that once this is destroyed, that they have succeeded the mission. And how will that work? Is you're going to put a trigger. Go to F3 on triggers and select trigger. Doesn't have to be an area trigger because we're not dealing with areas. We just want a simple trigger to put down. And once that trigger is placed, you're going to double click on it, and then you have a bunch of conditions on activations, deactivations. A lot of this is kind of confusing, but for this particular mission, all you want to do is to tell this trigger that tell this module that this mission has succeeded once the comms tower has been destroyed. Easiest way to do that is to just say this, exclamation point, alive, comms, and then hit semicolon. Then hit OK. So basically, when this tower is destroyed, this module is going to say, hey, mission success, the tower's been destroyed and mission is succeeded. In order to sync all that together and get it to work, is you're going to link this trigger, connect, sync to this module, and then link this task state to this create task module. So this task, this succession, this succeeded state, and this trigger all work when this tower is destroyed. When your team gets here, they've eliminated all the enemies, they've taken out the truck so that they can get to this tower safely, plant an explosive charge on it, detonate it. The tower is no longer alive. That's what this trigger means. If this is exclamation point, basically in biz coding language, is telling this trigger that this tower is no longer standing. It's a dead tower. If this tower is dead, if the comms tower that you called comms is dead, then the mission is a success for this task. Basically is how it works. And that's all you need. You can do this for multiple objectives. So you can have an alpha, you can have a bravo, you can have a delta, you can have Charlie, Foxtrot. You can do as many objectives as you want. So once these guys have completed this objective, then they can move on to the next objective. So let's make another one. Let's come over here. Let's see, pick a place. Ooh, this warehouse is good. That's a good spot. Let's come in the warehouse. Again, I'm coming in and out and zooming in and out using Q and Z, holding down my right mouse button to manipulate this camera to come inside this warehouse. Let's put a ISIS ammo cache inside this warehouse for our team to find and destroy. So again, I'm going to go to compositions. Let's go back to gorillas. Let's do supplies and storage small. Let's do cache 0. And let's put this down and see what this looks like. So I've placed this down. Probably wouldn't find a camo net inside a warehouse, so let's take that off. Probably wouldn't find any sandbag bunkers inside, although you can move them. Let's highlight these and drag them outside the front entrance here. Spin this around using shift, sort of make a defensive entry. Let's do that on these doors too. I got rid of those other sandbag bunkers, so let's go back a little bit, undo. Okay, there's my other sandbags, so let's grab these first, put them in front of this door, grab these and redo these. We'll put these in front of this door out here. Spin this back around the other way. Sort of drag this out here. Let's put a machine gun emplacement in this for the guys to have to deal with. They're not going to be able to just walk right in the front door. So let's do, back to our Islamic State guys, we'll do turrets. Let's do a Dishka, crude. So we'll put us a machine gunner out front. Probably would just be standing out in the sunshine, so let's give him a tarp. Let's do, just because I know where all of these things are, let's go to market and do market shelter white. Drag and put this on top of this guy here. Okay, we've got our market shelter down. That's good. That looks nice. Let's go ahead and go back to ISIS and find our guys. Let's put a grenadier here with the machine gunner. Don't want him grouped. Ungroup that. Again, that's left control and just left mouse click and you can drag the grouping off of him. So we've got two guys out front. Let's put a guy up on the scaffolding. That'd be cool. Let's put a sniper up here. So this is kind of obvious. You got a sniper standing up, but you can double click on him and change his position. Let's make him lay flat. This is the stance. You can tell him to lie down. Hit OK. And now he's laying prone up here as a sniper. Be a nice surprise. Sniper in the rafters up there. I don't like this thing, this rampart being in here, so let's take that off. It didn't really give us a whole lot of cache. There's not really like an ammo cache or anything like that in here. So let's move this stuff around. Again, I'm just grabbing these objects with my left mouse button and using the camera to manipulate kind of where I want it. But still, there's not really a pile of ammo for the team to find to destroy, so let's add that. Come over here to objects and type in ammo. And it will pull up all of the ammo crates that are available according to my mods, according to your setup that you have in your game. I want to come down here and let's do let me find Pakistan would be good. I know there's a one that's got an ammo crate, but if you're sticking with AKs, and you'll learn all this through editing, so basic weapons Pakistan is going to be this, and there are actually weapons in there. If your team come in here and say they're low on grenades or something, they can open up this cache and they can have access to these weapons. There's AKs, there's probably some place charges in there, grenades, RPG rounds, all kinds of stuff like that. Let's do Takistani Gorilla, put another one. This again is a fully loaded ammo crate, has contents. But what you're wanting is you're wanting the team to come in here and destroy this thing. So you want to have something for them to destroy, some kind of cache for them to find. So that's why I'm putting down live ammo crates. Let's go back now that we've got our crates down. Let's come back to ISIS and we'll put a few more enemy in here. Let's do a Grenadier right here. Yeah, you can't see outside. Let's put a team leader. Again, don't really want them grouped, so I'm gonna left control, left mouse. Unselect him. Let's do an anti-tank. So he's got an RPG. Don't want him grouped either. Let's put a machine gunner back here, maybe. Basically, these guys are going to be guarding this cache. Let's put a couple of guys on this side. Let's do a rifleman here, and then we'll do a sapper. I'm going to go ahead and leave these guys grouped because I just want to see. You need to see what they do if you leave them grouped. So we've got how many enemies on site? 1, 2, 3, 4, including our gunner on our cord, our Dishka. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 enemies on site with no vehicles, and that's a pretty good objective. Got a cache inside, and so back to systems. We're going to go back to Intel. We're going to do create task. Since this is, you're going to double click it. Remember to assign it to blue 4. This is going to be task Bravo. Locate and destroy the ISIS ammo cache. Pretty simple. You're going to leave it on module position. So this is another destroy task. You can change the object to destroy. Really, you can move it to whatever you want. But we'll leave it as destroy. Destroy is good. It's a good marker. And then hit OK. Now we're going to set the task state. We want them to be able to succeed. So we're going to do succeeded and hit OK. Same kind of situation. We're going to put down a trigger. We want to name this ammo cache so that we can assign it in the trigger. Typically, when you're blowing up ammo cache or something like that, one charge is probably going to, like one satchel, it's probably going to level this whole building, but it'll definitely take out both of them. So it's not necessarily to give both of them a name, but if you wanted to do that, and say have this ammo cache on this end of the building, let's kind of have them separated, so they're going to blow both of them. Let's go ahead and do that, and I'll show you how to do that. Let's move this one over here to this side. Copying and pasting objects is also pretty simple. If we want to say copy this truck, this ammo crate, just highlight it, hit Control C, and then come over here, Control V, and you can copy and paste objects that way. Pretty simple. Let's go ahead and do some barrels over here too. So we're going to do all of these barrels. Control C, and then move these over here. And kind of twist and turn them around a little bit, give them a little bit of different look. And so now they've got ammo over here to destroy, and they've got ammo over here to destroy. So how we want to set this up, we have to name both of them. So double click, double left click, go up here, and we'll call this ammo 1. Hit OK. We'll come over here and do this. Double click, and we'll call this ammo 2. So both of our caches are named now. They've got to come in here and they've got to blow this one. If they're smart enough, they'll figure out that, hey, there's more ammo over here. We need to blow this one as well. They can place 2 charges at the same time and blow them both and clear the objective. So when we come out here to our trigger, we're going to double click. In the condition, in order for this to say, yes, you succeeded in blowing up both of the ammos, you're going to say exclamation point alive, ammo 1, and then do this, hit and twice, and alive, ammo 2, semicolon. What this tells them is this mission will not succeed unless both of those ammo dumps are blown. So if they come over here, hit OK on that. Once you get this in here under the condition, alive, exclamation point, alive ammo 1, and exclamation point, alive ammo 2. Just hit OK. What that means is they can come in here and they can blow this one up, kill everybody on site, and they can blow this one, and this objective will not clear. It will not succeed. And at that point, your team's probably like, why didn't we just succeed? We blew up the ammo cache. Let's recheck the warehouse. They'll come in. Hopefully, if they're a smart team, they'll see second weapon stash over here. They'll put another charge on this one and blow it. Once both are destroyed, then the trigger will say that it succeeded for this task. Again, very simple. Sync to task state succeeded, and then sync the task state to the objective. And that's it. So now you have 2 objectives on your map. So one thing you always want to do, I know I do before I have my team play, is I always test play my missions just to make sure that everything's working like it should, that the triggers are going to fire the way they should. That way I find out if anything's broken. I want to make sure that all of my supports are able to be called. I want to be able to make sure that my artillery works, that I can get in vehicles, that I can actually drive these vehicles, fly these helicopters. So I always give my missions a test play before the mission starts, just to make sure that everything's functioning correctly. This is another thing that I failed to mention. If you are putting yourself down as a player and your team is grouped to you, anywhere on the map you will be able to see where your players are at any given time. They'll show up in your little menu tray down here. If you've played enough ARMA, you'll know that if you play on a squad or whatever, all of the squad mates that you have in your mission will be displayed down here in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, depending on how you have your HUD set up for playing. If you ungroup yourself from your team and don't want them grouped to you, most likely you will not be able to see them moving on the map, nor will they be able to find you. So if you get a downrange and you get on an objective and everybody is separated and they're not grouped, you won't be able to see their icon marker on the map. Sometimes you want to do that for realism. Other times, for simplicity, especially if you're a new group of players, you kind of want to know where everyone's at. So it's a good thing to leave you grouped to everyone in your team. But if you trust everybody, you want them ungrouped, you can ungroup them all. And that way you won't see them, you won't see any identification markers on their map once the mission starts. That you just basically kind of have to know, kind of where everybody's at. You'll kind of have to be on top of your communications, your comms, to make sure you know where everybody's at on your team. A little more realistic that way. So that's it. Your mission's built. Let's go into our test play right quick. And the way you do that, just come up to play. Probably want to save this too. And I want to go back and add a few things too to this. Once we test play it this way, I'm going to add a few things that you can add to your missions as well. One of them is being able to halo jump onto a target, which is really cool. And a couple of other things, but I'll go back and add that in a minute. So before you do test play, definitely want to save your mission. You're going to want to save this under multiplayer missions, and just give it a name. Let's call it ISIS in Fallujah. Just like that. Save it, and now it's saved. And we can come up here to play. Let's do play in single player. And like I said, basically this is just a test. You want to make sure that everything works.
Be advised, support units are now on standby. Out.
So the first thing that you heard is support units are now on standby. If you look over in the top left-hand corner of my screen, you'll see 3 icons displayed. One of them is an artillery piece with a target sign on it. That lets you know that you have artillery support. One of those is a helicopter with a target sign on it. That is helicopter gunship support. And then the double arrows, that is your helicopter transport. So all of those things are functioning. You have our team here. They're all going to move with you because you're all grouped. None of these are live players. They're all AI at this point. So I'm in control of everyone. Once you launch this mission, whether it be on your host server on your own PC, or if you're hosting it on a server that you have, when this mission starts, you load the mission. Everybody will be able to load into their respective bodies and be able to be live players. So all these guys will be live players. But I'm by myself, so I left them as AI. And so they're going to follow me everywhere and do what I tell them to. So let's call our helicopter transport and see if it comes over here and picks us up like we want it to. So 08, we're going to do helicopter transport, and let's do a we're small enough we might be able to get away with a hummingbird, but let's do a Ghost Hawk instead.
Requesting airlift at the designated coordinates.
So helicopter spawn. Most of the time, if there's a helicopter pad near, that helicopter will find a helicopter pad. Turn my volume down a little bit so you can hear what's going on. Audio. Yeah, it's a little loud. Loud as hell. That didn't change anything. That's a little better. So it is finding a helicopter pad over here to land on. So let's run over there and get on our helicopter. I don't think it went to a helicopter pad at all. I think it landed just outside the compound over there. Make sure the team's coming slowly. I'm going to have to open this gate. Come up to this gate. Open so my guys can get through. Kind of taking their time. And we've got one that's a straggler back there. Since I'm AI, using AI, I'm going to tell them to get on the helicopter first, just to make sure everybody gets on. So controlling my AI, top of my keyboard, F2, F3, F4. 2, 3, 4, board that vehicle. F5, board that vehicle. Here comes F5, he's like the slowest of the bunch. Let's check this right quick. Let's go to our map, and you'll see our tasks listed over here. We have an Alpha, and we have a Bravo, so both of those work. Come on, 5, get on the chopper. We're waiting on you, man. Hurry up. So he's on. So I get on.
Everyone in? Let's get out of here.
Now I'm going to tell him where to land. This is our first objective marker here, so I don't want to land real close to it. I'm going to have him land in this field right here.
We're moving out.
So this is the AI transport option. This helicopter should take me to where I told it to. Put a marker on the map for him to go and land. We can disembark from the helicopter and then engage number 1, Alpha. If you want to mark it on the map, you pull up the map with M and then hit the sign. That will turn the marker yellow. and will give you a marker on your map. You see it off there in the distance, 2.7 kilometers. We may take some fire from that truck coming in because I told us to land pretty close. I'm gonna adjust my volume again. Still feels like it's really loud. Okay, that's better. So we're flying to the marker that I put on the map. Like I said, we may take some fire from that vehicle if he sees us, which is highly likely. Enemy is pretty spot on with visuals. We should take some fire. I'll be surprised if we don't. But the helicopter is going to the marker on the map where I told him, which is good.
400 meters, 1 o'clock.
And so the pilot has just told us that there's an MR2, an M2 technical 400 meters at 1 o'clock, which is dead on.
We're here. Good luck out there.
And so then you can tell all your team, F2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, disembark.
Disembark. Wilco.
And I'm going to get out as well.
Standing by.
I'm going to move, and if you
Standing
watch,
by.
this helicopter should fly off on its own, which it will. It's putting a little suppressive fire on the location over there, which is nice. It's kind of cool. Sometimes they'll hang around too. The AI helo will hang around and give you air support, which he's doing right now, looks like. But let's push to this target and engage these guys and see what happens. Give these guys some orders.
Move 100 meters.
Tell them to move forward to me.
Copy.
Take
Got
it
an
in.
enemy. Rifleman. 300 meters.
And now they're hesitating because they know that there's enemy in front of them.
I've got a visual. Rifleman. 300 meters.
See,
Bearing 2,
they're
right
starting to
shield.
shoot. Let's get up here on target and see what we can see.
Cannot comply. Standing by. Man. 300 meters. South. Ready.
There's a guy off the distance. He's down. One down. Let's move up to this bunker.
Ready.
And you notice you hear that the helo is no longer in the air. It basically took off, and then it knew that it had completed its mission, so it basically disappeared off the map. Let me see where my guys are. They're way back there. They're not even wanting to come up close and engage because they know that there's enemies up here. Let's see if we can get them to move up.
Move 100 meters. Front. On the way.
So he says he's coming. We'll see. Let's see if we can see any of these guys. We can't really.
No can do.
Well, my British comrades are kind of slacking. Let's see if I can get them to move up this far.
Move 200 meters. Front. Understood.
Let's see if they're moving. I'm too far away from them. I can't even see their markers now. They're back there somewhere. We'll have to do this on our own, I guess, if we want the objective to clear. Hopefully shouldn't be too difficult, maybe. Why do I have 7 smokes?
There's an enemy. Man. 200 meters. Just up ahead.
There's one down. Let's get a frag in there and see what we do.
Waiting! Soldier! 200 meters! Just up ahead!
So we know there's
Man,
enemy in here.
300 meters! Front! Waiting!
No, I just got shot.
Car! 200 meters! Front! Ready!
Oh, there that guy is. He's out there in the beans. Out there in the sticks. Where'd he go? I really didn't want to play this Quick reload real quick.
100 meters, front.
So we can get up here on this objective without getting killed. There's a guy in there, I see. Let's get a frag in there. I have a mod in my game called Arsenal Anywhere. It's kind of unrealistic, but it's pretty cool at the same time. Allows you to have access to the arsenal anywhere, anytime during any mission. So I'm going to grab me a launcher so I can deal with this vehicle right quick. I'm real leery about coming up in here because I know there's guys up in here. There's a guy out there distant. That frag
Car,
that guy.
75 meters, front!
Nope, didn't get him. Let's do another frag in here. Not a smoke, chode. Did not mean to smoke out. I wasn't looking at my grenades. I didn't waste all my grenades yet. Now I can't see anything. Well, that's awesome. Let's see if we can come around here. Oh, there's our truck, and I just got wasted. Damn it. Alright, well, the point being, the helo worked. Let's go back in and make sure the supports work. Let's go back into play, single player. So you find out quite a few things by play testing. So we just found out our helo call works. We also have our other supports listed up here in the top left hand corner, so we know that all that works. Let's call an artillery strike and see. Get up this ladder so I can see this gunfire to make sure that it works. You can call artillery on the map. So I'm going to pull up my map. I'm going to call an artillery strike. We'll just call it on this position. So hit 08, artillery strike. Choose our howitzer. Let's do HE. Let's fire 6
Requesting
rounds.
immediate fire support at the designated coordinates. Over.
And our
Target location received.
M198,
Ordnance is inbound.
155 is going to fire 6 HE rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like I said, this thing has hella range, so it's easily going to reach that target.
Splash out.
If I'm lucky, I'll destroy the comm center and the objective will clear. And there it is. Must have hit the radio tower with that, and so the objective just cleared for me.
Rounds complete. Out.
And so the artillery works and our trigger setup works because I destroyed that comms tower with that artillery barrage and it cleared the objective. So everything is working like it should. So one thing that I was going to add that I did not put in this mission was the ability to halo jump from this. If I wanted to use halo and allow my team to parachute onto the objective, I'm going to do that right quick, and then we'll make sure I know that we can get in these vehicles and drive and get in the helicopter and fly. But those are all the kind of things that you want to do when you're play testing your mission. Just make sure that everything functions like it should. There's nothing worse than being a mission builder, spending a lot of time on a mission, and you get in to play it live for the first time, having not play tested it, and nothing works like it should. You get on objectives, you clear an objective, you don't get a mission success. Your supports don't work. You can't call helicopters like you thought you could. Any number of things could go wrong. as a mission builder, you just want to make sure that everything functions the way that it should, mostly for the benefit of your team. They're looking to have a good play experience, and so play testing your mission first couple of times through, just to make sure that everything fires off like it should, is always a good idea. You can do it without play testing, but you'll quickly find out if you're new to mission building that a lot of times you won't get it good on the first try. You won't get it right, and so something won't fire. You won't have a support. You won't be able to halo jump. You'll leave something out. You know, something will inevitably be found to be wrong, and it's always easier to fix that before you have your team play than to get in the mission and be like, hey, I thought you said we had artillery support. We're getting hammered by these guys. We need artillery. I'm sorry, I didn't set my module up correctly. It's not working. Sorry. It's always better just to test play and make sure everything's working correctly. So one thing that you can do, and that you'll learn when mission building, is there's a lot more things to do in your mission than just building it just like this, and having things in your mission folder. These things I will post in the mission description so that you can have them. So you can simply copy and paste them, drop them into a text file, and drop them into your mission folder, which is something I'm going to show you how to do right now. So go up to Scenario, and you can go down to Open Scenario Folder. This is where your mission is stored on your PC. This went right to my folder where this mission is kept. And I have quite a few things that I load into my mission file besides just the mission. This mission.sqm is the mission as you have built it. It contains everything that you just built in Editor. But I run quite a few different things in my mission folders to help my players. I keep them on my desktop in a mission contents folder. So I'm going to open that up, and you'll see a number of different things in here. We run a script called G-Revive. It is basically a medical revive script that runs separate from the basic biz revive that is included with the game. It's just a little better. You can put a lot of specific things in here, like requiring your team members to have med packs in order to heal somebody in the field, all the way from, you know, when a person gets shot, do they drop down and become immobilized, and if so, how long are they immobilized for? How long do they have before they have to respawn? All these things are configured in G-Revive. VCOM AI is another one that I run in my missions. This basically just tweaks the behavior of AI in a mission. It makes them quite not so stupid. In fact, they do a lot of cool things when you do run VCOM AI. This is available on Steam Workshop. You can download it. I'll find it and again put this in the description of the video so you can download it and basically drop this file in your mission. It's a little, it's tedious to kind of set up, but I'll show you right quick how to do that. And then ATM airdrop, which is also available on the Steam Workshop, basically allows you to put the ability to have an object in your mission where the players can go up to and select, basically to parachute onto a location from anywhere on the map. They can do that. They can parachute in. So I'm going to copy and paste all of these, and I'm going to drop all of this into my mission. These two things right here at the bottom, on player killed and on player respawn, is basically a kit related text file. Basically it tells my mission that anytime a player is killed, when they respawn, they're going to respawn with the same gear that they had when they got down range. So if they've used 5 mags and 3 grenades, when they respawn, they're going to have the same gear they had when they died. And I'll also show you how to set up a spawn in this mission too. So you can either have them spawn where they die, or you can have them spawn all the way back at base and make them refind the team if they get killed, which is usually how we play our missions on the Badger Team server. Depending on how I built the mission, sometimes I will have the guys spawn right where they died, just for the sake of continuity and the flow of the mission. You don't want guys to be spread out and, hey, I just got killed, I'm back at base, I've got to parachute back in, then they have to relink up with you. It's a little more challenging way to play versus I just got killed. I'm having to wait 10 seconds before I respawn, and then you respawn basically right back where your body fell when you got killed. Are basically the kind of the two ways that I set up my missions. But I'm going to copy and paste all this. Hit copy. Close this. I'm going to come back to my mission folder that I opened previously, and I'm going to paste all this in here. And now all this is available. With the VCOM AI, when you download this from Steam, it will allow you to get this as a folder, and then I may have to do another tutorial on how to use VCOM AI because I can't remember exactly how to pull this as a folder format and get it stuck in my missions or put it in my missions. But in the init, which is a file that I have here, this is just a text file, and double click on it and you open it up, and you notice at the top I have this execute VCOM AI initiate SQF, and basically that tells, when my mission launches, it tells the mission, hey, we're going to be using VCOM AI, and so launch the VCOM AI file. And inside that file, that VCOM AI, there's a ton of information that it gives the ARMA AI on how to behave, is basically what it does. All of this stuff is for the revive script, enabling it to work, and then this right here executes the briefing if I decide to put a briefing in this mission. I may have to do another tutorial on how to do a briefing because it's kind of it would take too long to do in this one. I just don't want this mission, this video to be like 3 hours long. So that's what's in this init.sqf. So now that all that is in my mission, I'm going to close this and go back to my mission. There is one thing, in order for the halo to work, I'm going to put my halo on this flag right here, but I'm going to have to pull it from another mission. So I'm going to open up a mission that I know that my halo is in. I believe I have it in. Well, I know I've got it in one of these. Let's open this. It's a little bitty line of text that you put on an object that basically allows your players to walk up and engage the halo feature from that file. It allows you to choose your altitude that you can parachute from, and allows you to choose a point on the map to parachute to, that parachuting file. But in order to initiate it, you need this little line of code to put in the init line of whatever object that you're using, whether it's a flagpole or a gasoline can or whatever you decide to use. It could be an ammo crate, it could be a wooden chair, whatever you want to use. So let this mission load up right quick, if it ever does. And so I know my halo script is on this flagpole right here in this other mission that I made. So I'm going to double click on it, and then there is the add action for the halo jump. So I'm going to just highlight this, hit Control C, and copy it. Then I'm going to go back to the mission that we just made, which is ISIS in Fallujah. We'll go right back to it. And here is our mission. So we're going to come back down on this flagpole. We're going to go into the init field. Anytime you want an object or even an AI or anything like that to do a specific thing, there's tons of info out there, other tutorial videos on how to, on all the different kinds of stuff you can put in init fields. But basically it means initiate. It's an abbreviation for initiate. So when the mission starts, whatever is in this field, it will automatically initiate on mission start. Whether it's an AI behavior or a particular thing you want a vehicle to do, maybe you want planes to take off from a runway, anything like that, it's always going to be put in the init field of whatever object that you're applying it to. So I'm just going to hit Control V and copy and paste that ATM airdrop. And the ATM airdrop file is in my mission now, along with my revive script and my my gear script, which, like I said, will allow my team, when they have to respawn, to keep their same gear and equipment and everything that they had when they died. So let's play in single player and see if our Halo script works. And I'll show y'all what that looks like too. ATM airdrop is really helpful if you're doing that. I got killed and I just respawned back at base. And
Be advised, support units are now on standby.
so
Out.
we'll come back here to this flagpole. You'll see that I've got a menu option that says Halo Jump. And you can just depress your middle mouse button and select Halo. You can choose your altitude here. 500 feet is good for me. And then I don't want to parachute on any objective. I'm just going to parachute right above the fob. Just tell it where you want to parachute and left click, and now you're parachuting. You're falling.
Report position.
You can scroll, tell it to open parachute. Parachute will deploy. And bam, that's ATM airdrop. Very cool script. It's very simple. Doesn't take up a lot of memory or anything like that to run. And it's super cool to have in your missions if you're wanting something something different than just transport by vehicle or transport by helicopter. And it's also a quick way, like I said, to get around if your guys are if they get killed and they respawn back at base, to be able to re-link up with the team quickly. They can just parachute back in on whatever location. So the last and final thing for this mission build is the respawn feature. You can come up here to the top, this menu up here, and you can go to attributes, and you want to select multiplayer, and it will pull up a whole bunch of different options. Basically, the few that you want to be concerned with is anything that's going to affect the players. This top line for type, not really necessary. You can change it if you want. We're going to make this a, let's just make it a sandbox, since it's a mission we created. Minimum players of 1, max players of 5. Let's do for the summary, and this for the lobby, this is what just displays on the load screen for the players, kind of give them an idea of what they're fixing to do. So we'll just put fighting ISIS in Fallujah. If you want to enable AI, you can leave this checked. You can also auto assign slots. So when the players log in, if you want each person to have an assigned role when they log in, you can click this. I never do. I just let the players on my team, they know where they're supposed to go, because all the names of their troop are already, they're named in the mission. I'll show you how to do that in a second too. Respawn, you pull this down and you can choose from these options. If you want to respawn on position of death, if your team is downrange and they get killed in the mission, you can set this timer. Let's go ahead and do this. Respawn on position of death, respawn delay. Let's do 16 seconds. And after 16 seconds, they will respawn where they died. If you don't want to choose this option, you want to use a custom position, you can select respawn on custom position. Let's just go down here for now and just hit OK. Come over here to markers, which is F6, and go down to system, and you're going to choose an empty marker. Place that empty marker right here. This is the marker. So this is going to be your respawn position. If somebody dies, when they respawn, they're going to respawn back at base on this spot right here in front of the flagpole. And the way you get it to work is you just double click on it, and you're going to call it respawn underscore west. Basically, it's a blue 4 respawn point. And this marker is invisible. You will not see it on the map on the mission. And go back out of map. You notice there's not a marker here. It's invisible. The game knows it's there. Oh, there it is. It is right there. You can see it. Huh. How about that? In the mission, you will not see it. There's not a dotted line on the ground or anything. You won't see it in the mission. But apparently you can see it in editor. So if any of the team members get killed, when they respawn in 16 seconds, they'll pop up right here in front of the flagpole, and then they'll have to have an option to get back to the team, whether it's using your halo, grabbing a vehicle, driving back, or whatever. Again, if you do not want this option, come up here to attributes, go to multiplayer, and just select respawn on position of death, and they'll respawn right where they died. The second thing you want to do is, if you're not using the G revive script, is you'll want to enable this for all players. You can require a trait. This is, in order to heal somebody, you have to be a medic. If you leave this at none, anybody can heal anybody. If you want to require a med kit or a first aid kit to be able to revive someone, you can click that. If you leave it as none, that means any member of your team, when somebody gets shot and is wounded, any member of your team without having a med kit or a first aid pack can go to that person and get them back in the fight. I believe it gives you like a little symbol on your screen, and it tells you, hold space to revive is the way it does it. And you can set all the attributes to that here. Revive duration. When you hold that space bar down to revive that person, how long is it going to take to revive them? Is it going to be 10 seconds, 12 seconds? You can leave it at 6 seconds, which is the minimum. If they're a medic, you can do a medic speed multiplier. That only works if you have the person selected required trait as medic. So if you have it set for everyone that can revive, then the speed multiplier is not going to work. A forced respawn duration. If the person is down and nobody is near them to heal them, the action's popping off, they want to get back into the fight as soon as possible, you can set this to a certain time limit. 10 seconds is the maximum, until they're forced to be respawned. Down here, incapacitation mode basic, it's what I always leave it as, is just basic. And the bleed out duration, I always leave it 2 minutes. If somebody goes down and they're shot, you basically have 2 minutes to get to that person to revive them, to get them back in the fight. If that 2 minutes expires, they will respawn, either based on how you set this up here, the respawn. They'll either respawn where they died, or they'll respawn back at base after that 2 minutes has run out. So right now the way we have it is we're going to put it on our marker, since we used a marker. So we're going to respawn on custom position. And these are other options you can select too. So like if you want there to be a certain number of you can do mission fail when everyone is dead. So if all your team members are dead, then the mission fails, you got to start everything over. I hardly ever use it, it's tedious. You can select respawn loadout. When they go to respawn, it'll present them with a loadout screen. They can reselect any gear that they want. So they're not happy with the rifle that they're using, they can switch to a different rifle if you want them to. Selecting a respawn position, you have to have markers placed on the map for this to work. So I don't ever use it because I never know where my team is going to be in a mission. Generally, I just use it as respawn on custom position, or respawn where you died. That's two of the easiest ways to set it up. And just hit OK. So now we have functioning Halo. We've got our respawn position set. We've got 2 objectives that work. All of our supports work that we know of. We can call helicopter support. We can also call attack helos. The one thing that we didn't check was to see if the vehicles that we put down, we can get in and out. The reason I say that is because if you double click on them, you can choose to have vehicles locked or unlocked. In this object states, I always leave this as default. Default for the game is all vehicles are unlocked all the time. You can set it specifically to unlocked, but simplest thing really is to leave it as default. There's other attributes that you can change as well. You can reduce the armor, reduce the fuel, reduce ammo, all that kind of thing in here. But for vehicles at the start of a mission, generally I will leave them as is, place them down and use them as is. So let's play test that right quick, and then I will wrap this video up. I think I'm going on, gosh, it's got to be a good hour and a half, hour now, at least hour.
Be advised, support units are now on standby.
You
Out.
can come up to this vehicle here. It should give us a symbol to get in, and you can scroll with your mouse and it'll allow you to get in as gunner, passenger, driver, whatever the case may be. Because this is a British vehicle, the steering wheel is on the other side. So let's go around to the other side. We should be able to get in as driver. Get in as driver. And then from this point, you can tell your team to get in. F2, F3, F4, F5. And we can say get in.
Get in that vehicle.
Roger.
And they should all come over here and mount in this vehicle in all
Standing by.
the
Waiting.
positions.
Standing by. Ready.
Again, these are AI. They're going to kind of do their own thing. If you want them to change position, you can say, you know, highlight a guy, tell him to disembark,
dismount.
We'll go.
and then I'm going to highlight this
Standing
guy
by.
again, and I'm going to say F4, and I'm going to say get in as
2.
Gunner.
Get in that vehicle.
Understood.
he'll either get in the front seat or he'll get up top on the M2,
Standing by.
and he got on the M2. And then this vehicle is drivable. Take this downrange to your mission if you want. Same thing with the helicopter. F2, 3, 4, 5.
Disembark.
Roger.
I'm going to get out as well. I'm going to tell everybody to regroup on
Standing
me.
by.
Move up.
Standing by. On the way.
Fall back.
Copy.
And come over here to this helicopter and make sure we can get in the helicopter. Which I'm sure we can because I left it as default. Which is what I highly recommend. And so I'm typically the pilot for Badger Team. So anytime I get in air vehicles, I always tell everybody to get in first.
Get in
That
that
way
vehicle.
I know that they're
Copy
all
that.
in. Come on, guys. What are you doing? Freaking AI, man.
Waiting. Cannot comply. Cannot comply.
And why not?
Cannot comply.
Did I put down a non-transport version? This helo? No, you guys can get in this helicopter. I know you can.
2. Pilot. Get in that vehicle.
Solid copy.
3. Get in that vehicle.
Copy that.
Alright, stupid
Thank
AI
you.
is just going to be AI. They're not going to get in. Again, if this was live players, everybody could get in.
Cannot
And-
comply.
And the helo works just fine. So everything works like it's supposed to. This guy,
5.
the only guy
dismount.
that got in the helicopter.
Roger.
So yeah, I would call this a decent mission. This is a good mission build. This is a basic mission build too. There are tons of things you will learn over the course of mission editing. Different ways to set up triggers, different ways to do waypoints, different ways to do patrolling vehicles and stuff like that. I keep thinking about things to show you guys. Here's one more thing I'll show you. I run another mod in my game called Lamb's Danger, which is super cool for mission building. Basically, it's an AI thing. We'll use this vehicle here as an example. So Lamb's Danger is going to be in your modules under F5, and it is right here. So we have Lamb's Danger search modules, and then there's Lamb's Danger waypoints. I have another video on my channel where I show how to use these things, but basically when you're building missions, it basically simplifies tasking AI to do a whole bunch of stuff, whether it's garrison or set up a camp or assault a position. You can set up artillery, so you can give enemy artillery, and then they can radio back and forth to one another. So if your team gets on site and the ISIS guys actually have a mortar team at their disposal, they can actually call for their own artillery support and start pounding your team with mortars. All kinds of cool stuff like that. Main thing I use Lambs for is doing patrols. It works for vehicle patrols and foot patrols. But you can click on this module and just place it down, and it's got a bunch of stuff. You can change the size. The default size is 200 meters. Um, and so I'm just going to leave this in a circle the way that it is. It will automatically assign the number of waypoints that you give it. So I'm going to give it 6 waypoints. Um, when you select dynamic patrol pattern, um, basically they'll run 6 waypoints and then generate brand new 6 waypoints to go and patrol. So they're always patrolling differently. The dynamic reinforcement is also cool. If you click this box, if this vehicle is on patrol and say it's, you know, at the very extreme of its patrol radius and this fob comes under attack, they will automatically, the guys in there, if there's any of them equipped with a radio on the ISIS forces, they'll radio this truck and say, hey, we're getting attacked, we need help. And this guy will actually leave his patrol and come and assist the guys that are under attack. It's very super cool. So put that there, and then you just sync it to the waypoint, and I'll show you what it does. We can spectate in single player, and I'll zoom over there on the map, and you can see this vehicle.
Be advised, support units are now on standby.
You
Out.
can see that this vehicle is patrolling. It just starts patrolling on its own, and it'll patrol 6 waypoints, and once it's done with those 6, it'll generate a brand new 6 waypoints and start patrolling those. The only way that it will come off those waypoints is if it's engaged. So if your Blue 4 forces engage this truck, it'll stop patrolling and deal with the threat. If it eliminates everybody, if it deals with your Blue 4 team, it'll immediately resume patrolling again. It's just like, hey, we dealt with a threat, now let's get back to our patrol. It's a super cool mod to have as far as doing AI and using it in your missions. It just gives it a little bit more realistic feel, and it's a little bit more unpredictable. You as a mission builder most likely will play your missions, and so when you use Lamb's Danger, you kind of really don't know what the AI is going to do. They're kind of off doing their patrols. You can put this on foot patrols as well, so you can put a team of 3 or 4 guys down, give them a patrol waypoint. And look at this guy. What is this guy doing? That's crazy. He's out running by himself. But yeah, Lamb's Danger. I'll put the link for it too in the description of this video, so you can see it. And it seriously alters AI behavior, just like VCOM AI does. If you're running Lamb's Danger and VCOM AI, you're going to have a pretty good fight versus AI units. And it doesn't matter what you put down. If it's Op4, if it's independent, whatever the case may be, if you're running VCOM AI and you have LAMs running and you're using the LAMs modules, the AI is not going to behave like what you're used to playing against, like CStat guys, just in the mission builds that come with the game and stuff. You're going to get a totally different experience. They're both really, really awesome to have. So that is the end of this tutorial. I think I've talked long enough. That is the basic mission build. Again, I'm going to put links to all the stuff that I put, including my mission contents, in the mission description. I will try to. Sometimes YouTube is funny about me adding links, especially to stuff to download, so we'll see how that goes. I'll try to get that in there so y'all can know where to find all this cool stuff. But good luck with your mission building. If you get on this, if you get into mission building and you find that you're kind of still intimidated, if you need help, if your waypoints aren't working like they should, if your triggers aren't working like they should, feel free to hit me up on the channel. This is kind of like my hobby, playing with ARMA and building missions and stuff. I've got, like, I don't know, something crazy like 8,000 hours of game time in ARMA. I've been playing it since Armed Assault, so I've got quite a bit of experience. So hit me up in the comments, comment on this video. If you want to see, if you've got a mission build in mind and you're not quite sure how to do it, you can see by the questions and the replies that I give my other subs when they ask me questions. I'm pretty quick to reply. Sometimes within hours if I'm on, usually within a day if I see it, because I get notifications that somebody's commented and they've got questions, and so I'm usually pretty quick to answer. So I am here to help you out. I want you to enjoy mission building because it's a really huge aspect of ARMA that I don't think is taken advantage of enough. Most people just get in here and play the biz game, or they download missions that somebody else has built. And this is really it's probably, in my opinion, the best part of this game is being able to build your own missions and scenarios, especially if you've got a group of guys that like to play and y'all all play together. It's a hell of a lot of fun to come in here and build missions and challenge your teammates, build stuff that they want to see. There's another thing that I like to do is when I get ready to build a mission is I'll send a text message out to all my team members and I'm like, hey, thinking about building a mission. What do you guys want to do? What have we not done in a while that you want to see? And they'll send me replies. Hey, let's fight Russians. Let's fight in Ukraine. Let's fight. We hadn't fought terrorists in a while. How about something historically accurate? How about a mission in Rhodesia? Something in Vietnam? They're always giving me ideas. And mission editor is great. You can do whatever you want in editor. Make any mission, any kind, and make it playable. But if you're doing that and you have trouble, post me a comment, send me a message. Let me know what you're trying to do and what you're having trouble with, and I will definitely get back to you and help you along the way. Anyway, good luck with your mission building, and hope this was useful. Again, hit me up in the comments if you got any questions. Thanks for watching. Badger 1 out.